Hello and welcome back to Frogboy X1 Gaming. I'm Andrew and today we're going to be talking about the Vizio H1 OLED. So if you like this content, don't forget to like and subscribe. It really helps out the channel. And so let's get into this. So we have a few things to go over with the Vizio H1 OLED. So I've had this TV now for exactly 2 months and a couple of days. Today we're going to go over picture quality, upscaler, HDMI ports, some of the other stuff, and then like my thoughts on it. So let's go ahead and start this off with I'm going to start this off with the upscaler. Okay, so I'm a gamer. That's what this channel is about. It's about video games. I'm when I went to get this TV though, let me just give you a little background story. I've been playing on Vizio TVs now for about 5 years. Okay, oh, is it 5 years or 4 years? 4 years. 4 years since the PlayStation 4 Pro. So 4 years. So 4 years is when I got my first 4K TV. I bought that one, paid a pretty decent amount of money for it, like $2,500, because I had to get on that craze, had to have that 4K. So that TV lasted exactly 2 years and a few days after that, and the screen went completely out. I bought new motherboards for it. I bought. I did. I went on Amazon and I bought all the boards for it and stuff. Still couldn't get that freaking TV to work. Spent another $150 trying to play around with it. And I said, you know what? I'm done. So I went over to Walmart and I just bought a 55-inch Vizio TV. Brought it home. Picture quality was way amazing. Way amazing. The biggest problem with that TV though is it only had one HDMI port that I could hook up, an HDMI 2.1 or 2.0 that I could hook up my Xbox Series X or my PlayStation 4 Pro to. The other ones were 1.4, so they wouldn't do 4K with the with HDR. So that I lived with that TV for about a year, and then when the M series, the M55 EO, the one that I have behind me was the Quantum, the Vizio M series Quantum. I went and picked that up. It was on Black Friday. The TV was like $479. 55-inch. Brought it home. Gave the other TV to my daughter. Hooked that one up. Had all my ports. I was happy. I was happy as a clam. Picture quality was great. I was singing along just fine. So then I decided, you know what, man? I'm gonna go ahead and replace the TV in the front room with a Vizio P series. So I went back and I got the P series Quantum. Put that in the front room, and I've been happy with that one. So then you get the new consoles. You get the Xbox Series X and the PlayStation 5. Both of these need 2.1 to be able to utilize all the features of these new consoles. So I, after a lot of deliberation and hearing my subscribers talk about the Vizio or the LG CX, I decided one day, well, you know what? I'm just gonna go buy that TV. So I jumped in my truck, drove down to freaking Best Buy. I was sitting at the Best Buy. They didn't have any of that in stock. They didn't have any of the Vizio H1s in stock. So I just decided, like I was talking to the guy about it, and I was like, you know what, man? Because I just remembered. I was like, oh yeah, Vizio makes an OLED. And I'd been pretty happy with the Vizio TV. So I was like, you know what, show me that TV. So we went over there and we looked at that one, and I was like, wow, you know what, that's not bad. And I was like, well, how much is that one? And he's like, well, it's $300 less than the other one. And I was like, you know what? I've been pretty happy with my Vizio experience, so I'm going to go ahead and give them a try. So I bought that TV, had to drive all the way out to a different Best Buy to pick that one up. Went down there, picked that one up, brought it home, did an unboxing, hooked it all up, put it on the wall, started playing around with it. My first initial response to that was, gosh, this TV is buggy. My PlayStation didn't want to work. My Xbox was freaking out. But after getting in there, adjusting some of the settings and adjusting some of the settings on the consoles themselves, everything started working just fine. And it's been my daily driver now for the last 2 months. I've had the TV now for 2 months and a couple of days. I think about it July 16th or 13th, and it's now the 20th of September. So what is that, like 2 months and 7 days or whatever. So so this has been my new TV since then. I decided I wanted to wait a little while before I updated my review on this TV so that I could actually go over all the things that I like and things that still aren't exactly right there for me, that I know wouldn't be a problem if I would have bought the LG CX. Like, I know that. I get that. Like, nobody has to, LG CX is better in the comments. It's not needed. Okay. Like, I'm happy with this TV. I saved $300. I, you know, I'm having a decent experience with it. So that's all that matters at the end. I'm not telling anybody on there to go out and buy the Vizio over the LG CX. If you have the money to buy the LG CX and that's what you want, I know for a fact that TV is solid. That one's quality. Like, no problem. You're not going to have to deal with any of the, the user bugs that, you would have to possibly go through and figure out with the Vizio H1. It's not many. Like, I literally just had to turn off VRR support and then like get the TV updated and everything for things to start working right. Like, it wasn't really that big of a deal. I was just in a hurry and was trying to hook it all up and trying to be. I was excited. Okay, I was excited when I first got it, but after sitting down and figuring everything out and like going through the settings and seeing what each thing does, it works great. Which is what's going to bring us to our first topic: upscaling. We have next generation consoles that are backward compatible with the beginning of last generation games. We all know that. So some of those games are going to run sub 1080p on your Xbox and 1080p on your PlayStation 5. This TV does have a built-in upscaler. It has 3 different levels. You can set it at low, medium, or high. You also have edge sharpening. Okay. These are freaking amazing. So, as you all know, Dark Souls 3 just got an FPS boost patch to boost it up to 60 FPS on the Xbox Series X. So, when you put this game in there and you're running to 60 FPS with the upscaler on this TV, like, it looks great. It looks really good. The edges are sharp. There's no stair-stepping or any of that stuff. Like, it looks a lot better. It looks a lot cleaner. I also have used it on Batman Arkham Knight. Wow, what a freaking difference OLED and upscaling makes on that game. It looks freaking pretty good. So the upscaler in this TV works. It works pretty good. I feel like the LG CX one is a little better, possibly. Like, I don't have the LG CX, so I really can't compare them. So I'm not gonna kick this TV for a product that I don't even have, because this one here has been good for me. Like, it's been good for me, and it works, and it does everything that the other TVs that I've had just don't do. Like, they didn't have upscaling, they didn't have any of this other stuff, but this does have a built-in upscaler, and it does work really good with games. I believe that Vizio did design this more for gamers. So the next point is the HDMI hookups. You have 4 on this TV. 2 of them are full bandwidth, 48 gigabytes a second, and the other 2 are 40 gigabytes per second, HDMI 2.1. Either way, it doesn't matter, because you can use all 4 of them and get the full bandwidth for the Xbox Series X or the PlayStation 5. The PlayStation 5 is outputting at 32 gigabytes a second in HDMI 2.1, whereas the Xbox Series X is doing the 40 gigabytes per second. So neither one of them are hitting the full potential, full max of HDMI 2.1. So either one of those ports, all 4 of those ports, are going to work just fine with either of your 2 new consoles. So there are some more technical things in here. There are plenty of settings. There are ways to set up your picture and everything to make it look better. You can have it professionally calibrated. I just use the presets, and then I get in there and adjust the ones that I want. Make sure you turn your sharpening all the way down if you're playing a 4K game. It just really makes them look terrible with that on there. When you get into picture quality, like, wow, I can already just tell you that OLED versus QLED, way better. So the Vizio M Series Quantum, the one that I had prior, is technically, like QLED from Samsung, QLED technology. It's got the quantum color or whatever. So basically, I was getting a really good looking picture with that, with really high bright light, with really high bright highlights, which is pretty cool. Like, the TV gets pretty bright. Whereas the Vizio H1 OLED, it doesn't get as bright. Like, it doesn't have as much peak brightness, but the contrast ratio from like literally pure black all the way up through all those different shades of gray and all the way up to like brighter colors and stuff, the contrast ratio of the OLED looks so much freaking better. Like there's no describing it. It doesn't even, like the QLED, it does compare, but it doesn't compare. Like where the QLED, when I get them side by side playing the same game, the QLED will look more washed out, whereas the OLED just looks immaculate. It looks beautiful. All the colors, all the different shades, everything, it looks really good and it really pops. So if you can get an OLED, I highly recommend doing that for gaming. I don't necessarily like HDR in movies. It really doesn't, like, I'm like, okay, well, I guess I can see it, I guess I can't. But HDR really pops on video games, like really pops. So with Vizio, you do have out of the box Dolby Vision support, HDR10 support, and HDR10 Plus support. So you have all three of the major HDR platforms already at your fingertips. They already work. Vizio makes some really amazing sound bars for their TVs. The stand for this, if you're going to put it on a shelf, actually does have the stand is designed to fit Vizio's sound bar in there, which is pretty cool. Like, I like that. And if I didn't have mine hanging on the wall, I possibly would have bought that sound bar and stuck it on there. I mean, theoretically I could, because my the way I have my TV, I can pull the thing out, so I could still put it on there and have it on there. But I don't know, like that would just be kind of tacky, like kind of defeat the purpose of having the TV hanging on a wall if I have to have it pulled out more farther. I usually just have it sitting there so I can pull it out when I'm doing my sim racing, so I have it, closer to me while I'm doing sim racing. The other things that people would possibly want to know about this, like the one thing that today still kind of gives me problems, is the 120 hertz mode with VRR, having the VRR turned on. And this is only on some games. Some games it works just fine. Some on the rest of them, like it'll do this like on F1 2021, for instance, when I have VRR turned on at 120 hertz, it does like this weird little freak out thing where it like screws up the picture, and then like when I push the buttons a couple times, it'll fix it, but then it'll screw up again. So all I got to do is turn the VRR off, and it works just fine. And I only have to turn the VRR off on the Xbox, not on the TV itself. Like it works just fine. So some of the bugs that I was experiencing in the very beginning when I hooked this TV up, because I just turned everything on and I was like, oh my gosh, what's going on? That was the main bug that was like really freaking me out when I did my first impressions on this, was that bug alone. That bug was kind of, and the PlayStation 5 wasn't working right. Like it would only display on like 1080p or something. But I figured those out. I had to go into the PlayStation and like set up the settings and through like a different menu, and then that works just fine. I have not had any problems with the PlayStation 5 since. 120 hertz works fine. Everything works just fine on the PlayStation 5. No problems whatsoever. The Xbox, like I said, is still that one little problem with the 120 hertz and the VRR thing. I don't know if that's necessarily like a system software bug in the Xbox now, or if it is or if it is still in the Vizio, because I know that the Vizio has the update to do 120 with VRR. So I'm thinking it might still be like a handshake thing going on with the Xbox that's not necessarily being able to work. The VRR with 60 FPS on the Xbox works perfectly, not a problem. So that's like the one thing that might necessarily be like a really big bother for somebody that would pick the Vizio over the LG GX. Sound quality, the sound quality from this TV as opposed to my old TV is much better. Gets a lot louder, sounds a lot better. Definitely really good. I have this set up through my PlayStation 5 with the new update on the PlayStation 5, the new system software. You can now use the 3D audio through TV speakers. You hold your controller up to let it bounce a signal back, and then it will give you that sound. It sounds great. It sounds so good that I was like, wow, man, that is impressive. Like, it is pretty impressive. I finally understood, how good the 3D audio sounds on the PlayStation 5, simply because of that. This TV, with the sound quality of this TV without using a soundbar, it sounds pretty good. But you got to understand, I'm sitting 3 feet away from my TV while I'm playing games. I'm sitting that close to it while I'm playing games. So yeah, the sound sounds great to me. Even when I'm, over there sitting halfway across the room and I got the TV turned up when I'm watching TV, still sounds great. Still sounds great. I can still hear it way better than I did the other TV. The other TV I used to have turned all the way up just to barely hear it. This one here, I can have it like halfway and I can hear it real good. kids will be walking down the hall and they'll be like, turn your TV down, I can hear that. And I'm like, whatever guys, I don't care, I pay the bills. So yeah. So when it comes to picture quality and everything, like it looks amazing. Like being able to have an OLED and a QLED in the same room within a few feet of each other with two different systems hooked up to them, you can tell the difference. And the OLED wins every freaking time. The QLED looks good if you've never seen an OLED right next to it. Like it looks great. Like it does look fine. Like I was completely satisfied with the picture quality of that. I was to a point where I was like, man, do I even really care about the 2.1? I mean, none of the games are really going to hit 4K at 120 frames a second. And then Doom Eternal comes out and changed my mind. Being able to play, you know, F1 2020 at 1440p and 120 frames a second, yeah, it makes a difference. It definitely makes a difference. And I'm very happy that I get to take advantage of that, because now I can actually play Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart on my 120 hertz display at 40 frames a second and be able to retain all that 4K, you know, beautiful graphics and ray tracing and everything. So yeah, just certain little things like that really make a difference. They really do make a difference. And it really does bring out, you know, because, you know, playing like all those older games at 120 frames, like Battlefield and stuff like that, with the upscaler in my TV, yeah, it drops them down to 1080p, but then the upscaler upscales them so they look great. nothing lost there, you know. I mean, that is amazing. I know that the LG CX is probably the better pick. I'm not saying that it's not. I'm saying that my experience with the Vizio H1 purely as a gaming TV, like I'm satisfied. Like I'm pretty happy with that. If something ever happened to this TV, yeah, I'd probably just go buy the CX, whatever. It is what it is. Like I gave Vizio a chance because I've been more than satisfied with the quality of product that I've gotten from them over the last few years. This is my fourth Vizio TV in over, you know, 4.5 years, and literally they weren't broken. I just bought them because I wanted different quality out of those. And like $500, I mean, like $500 for another TV, like whatever, you know, it's not that bad. For my P series Quantum, I paid $1,300. For this one, I paid $1,300. So I mean, about the same. So in closing, I'm satisfied with this TV purchase. I think that if you bought one, you'd probably be pretty happy with it too. If you have the money to buy the LG CX, yeah, do it. Handle that, you know, whatever. I mean, yeah, I personally was going to buy the CX and I ended up coming home with the Vizio just because I've got more of a, you know, I wouldn't say relationship with Vizio, because I don't have a relationship with them, but I have a trust in their products because they've been good to me. The products have worked. They've done what I've needed them to do. And so I decided, you know, like, just go ahead and, you know, stick with Vizio. Like there's really no harm in that. I mean, it's my personal preference. That's what I like to do. So I really don't need the comments in the bottom saying the LG CX is better. Like I don't need that. I'm happy with my purchase. I'm telling you about this. That's basically it. So if you want more information about this Vizio CX or this Vizio H1 OLED, go ahead and put something in the comments. I will answer your questions. I have no problem with that. I love the interaction that I get with the community, and I like to be able to answer questions and try to help people make the most informed decisions they can when buying products. So if you need any help, like, let me know. Whatever you need to know, put it in the comments. I'll answer it, you know, as quick as I can. I try to check my messages on YouTube a lot, like pretty frequently actually. I'm usually, you know, sitting there checking them and stuff, trying to answer questions. So if you need any more information, don't forget to hit that, you know, don't forget to hit me up in the comments. If you like this content and you thought this was helpful, hit that like, hit that subscribe. It definitely helps out the channel, and I want to be able to continue to bring this content to you on a regular basis. So it helps me, it helps you. So enough of that. This video is already almost 20 minutes, so I'm going to go ahead and leave you with that. And yeah, like I said, let me know. See you in the next one.